Hey, welcome back. So today we're talking about how people often are in a rush to force their bowels to move, get their gallbladder removed, or to do another harsh cleanse, another anti-candida protocol, kill a bunch of parasites. But as you may have found out yourself, if you were part of that conglomerate, rarely does that lead to lasting significant benefit just on its own. That line of thinking or that line of acting. And I've seen this, and I'm working with many patients right now to convince them to look long term while managing that symptom relief right now, because nobody wants to just be constipated or have bloating or acid reflux heartburn. You can't just live with that. But the gut and life, they're continually going back and forth. They're cycling on one another. How we eat, how we think, how we speak, how we respond to life situations, even how we drink, what we watch, what we drink, what we listen to. It's all interacting to produce a greater or lesser enjoyable digestive and overall life experience. Yes, your digestion affects your thought patterns and your well being, but your thought patterns and your well being also affect your gut in the same manner. They're literally continually just cycling on each other. So we can get one of them feeling awesome, we're likely to get the other one feeling awesome too. Unfortunately, in our quick fix culture, the majority are not going to get all better, simply by taking a probiotic. Man, I was a 2 out of 10. Now my well-being's an 8 out of 10 because I took that probiotic. Likewise, listening to uplifting music, going for a walk instead of watching TV in the evenings, that may not get your bowels moving every single day, like somebody told you it would. For some people, it probably will. But these could be one of the many interactions, in a whole line of additions and subtractions that can and will lead to both the digestive system and our psychology, our well-being coming into balance. And all of a sudden, what? Man, life's looking pretty bright. But there's a lot of little itty bitty things we were doing. And imbalances in our gut, they can occur for just an insane amount of reasons. All different kinds of inputs can create all different kinds of interestingness in us, from our food choices to our life stressors to medications. Especially like psychological medications or acid blockers or antibiotics, laxatives, birth control, NSAIDs, Tylenol, or even just the local environment like your home or your office space. You got a moldy home, or your mouthwash, your shampoos, your skin creams, your soaps, because what goes on us goes in us. Even our breathing patterns, mouth breathing all the time, that affects our digestion. And I suggest, we get these things under control as early as possible. Any of those things we can control, get them under control. First off, get those things, rocking, and then let's look at life and our eating rhythm. Because this is what I talk about today, is rhythm. Rhythm is the underlying key to awesome digestion in the Western civilization, and it is overlooked like crazy. So if you're currently experiencing irritable bowel syndrome, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, SIBO, acid reflux, gallbladder issues, think about finding rhythm to your eating patterns. Consider your meals. How do you feel after you eat a meal? Could you, hop up, go for a brisk walk, no big deal? You feel like taking a nap? Are you bloated? Or you feel heavy? Are you getting water retention? Do you get reflux? Do you get congestion? Are you burping? Are you coughing after your meals? Is your nose draining? Maybe the smoothie, whatever it is that's going in your mouth, the meal that's going in your mouth, maybe it's not for you. Maybe it's time to change up the food. Maybe it's time to change up that smoothie concoction. Maybe those superfoods that made your buddy feel like $1,000,000 and seemingly gave him or her that glow for life. Maybe for you, it's just not working. Because food should heal. The food you're consuming, it should give life to you. It should give you a sense of just enablement. If it's not, then maybe you want to pass on that food input. Yes, even if it has the pretty colors, the organic label, the non-GMO sticker, the gluten-free sticker, even though those might be all over it, maybe it's not for you. And beyond just the food choice itself, on this rhythm bent, consider giving your digestive system at least, at a bare minimum, 90 minutes to recalibrate before consuming, that next meal, that next snack. The thing is, there's this thing called the migrating motor complex, MMC, that goes through these 90 to about 130-minute cycles once we stop eating. And once we start eating, those cycles, they stop immediately. So if you have not heard of the migrating motor complex, it is literally this powerful kind of automatic routine of our digestive system that is separate from the peristaltic system. I mean, everything works together, but this is something different. And because you may have heard of peristalsis, peristaltic movements, but the migrating motor complex refers to just these recurrent cycles of powerful contractions that sweep the contents of, especially in what we're talking about right now, the small intestine, like the bacteria, down into the colon. And the migrating motor complex, it is also present in the stomach and in the large intestine. But most digestive illnesses that we deal with right now, beyond like acid reflux, we hear about SIBO, small intestinal bacterial overgrowth, and IBS, irritable bowel syndrome. These are coming from problems that are present in the small intestine. So you can think of the migrating motor complex as like the street cleaning crew. It's just tidying up after that parade, after that march. People threw stuff everywhere. It's getting all that stuff cleared up. Basically it ensures that the gut is cleaned out, it's ready, it's capable for that next meal to absorb and retain nutrients. This is why it's so important to get a great night's sleep. Shut down the kitchen early in the evening to give this cycle, the opportunity to do its work. Because in the fasting state, that is especially the extended fasting state, these cycles, they can become more frequent. And the more extended the fast, the more frequent, the more cycles you're going to have, and the more cleansing you're going to get. So remember though, the migrating motor complex, the second you take that bite, it stops. Very, very second. So, the lack of sufficient migrating motor complex cycling, it is the underlying issue of small intestinal bacterial overgrowth. If that cycling was on point, you just wouldn't have it. That's why so often when we're talking about SIBO, we're using things that support the migrating motor complex. You've heard like ginger and artichoke, many others that support even, there's different pharmaceuticals out there that support it. But even so, yes, those medications or those herbs can be beneficial, but supporting the migrating motor complex has so much to do with our inputs, how we're thinking about life, how we're taking in life. Because if there's not rhythm in our life, if there's not rhythm at all to our eating patterns, if there's not rhythm to our sleep patterns, we can take ginger all day long. It's not going to do the trick. So if people could, for the most part, adhere to the kind of eating routine that allows for, say, 12 to 14 hours of fasting each day, to allow that migrating motor complex to do its work, it'll be difficult for them not to obtain results and not see that these other modalities they're using to help balance flora out, help move their bowels along, to help heal leaky gut or clear up inflammation in their digestive tract. It's gonna be hard for those not to work and to be much more efficient in their activity. So in closing, take your GI powders, your healing powders, your probiotics, do what you're supposed to do to heal your gut up. But above all those, or even foundationally, think, how am I creating rhythm? We can do all kinds of craziness. There's just endless things we can do to help our gut, help our psychology. But amongst all of that, where am I getting rhythm? How am I applying rhythm? How am I considering these inputs that are setting me off, that are taking me out of a state of rhythm? Because rhythm, the underlying act of the body being in a rhythmic state, having these fasting periods, having these eating periods, if you deal with digestive concerns, man, got to find a way to integrate them into your lifestyle. All right, I'm Dr. Matt. If you haven't liked, if you haven't subscribed, it is so helpful if you do. And if you share with your buddies, email this out to your buddies, send the link, help them out. There's no way a person who's on this channel accumulating health, watching these, is not going to get healthier. All right, I'll talk to you guys and gals later.